You've spent the past week, or you're spending this week, travelling around England, visiting villages and rural communities and helping them to get online.
That's right.
What have you found?
I have found the big thing that I'm finding is stories, and that's what I'm interested in, is people's stories about the problems it causes to their lives. So I think we found some really interesting and compelling stories. Some of the stories are things like the young girl who has to get up at 2 a.m. to do her homework because it's the only time the network's quiet enough to get on. The children who were given detentions for not doing their homework online and taking the detention rather than admitting that they hadn't got broadband access because it's not cool to admit that to their friends. The people who have to maintain, who could work from home, but have to maintain a separate business premises and the expense and the travelling because they have to go to an office in a town in order to use the internet, which they can't use at home. You know, and the big one, of course, is the farmers frustrated with having to do their returns and everything, all the paperwork online these days. And a lot of those having to go into the town or find a library or an internet centre somewhere to go and do that because they can't do it from home. So lots and lots of different stories, lots and lots of frustration. I think as well, in a lot of the places I've been to, a realisation for the first time that they might be able to do something about it themselves, that they haven't got to sit back and wait for the usual suspects to deliver something for them. So I've been talking to people about the examples where people have got up and done their own initiatives to solve their connectivity problems, and I think that's been quite inspiring to some people who just didn't know that that was a possibility.
And what can, if I'm a farmer in a village and I've got terrible internet access and I'm suffering because the government wants me to fill in more of my forms online and yet I can't do it, what can I do to speed up my connection or to get online or to get better broadband?
Okay, well I think it depends on what approach you want to take. I mean, if you just want a quick fix and just solve your own issues, then probably your first point of call today would be satellite access. Satellite access can not be that quick and it can be expensive, but it's going to be a hell of a lot quicker than most of the connections that some people I've been talking to have got already, you know, and that can be installed within a matter of days. But there are lots of examples around the country where communities have got together and done things for themselves, and that can be more cost effective, more long term, but obviously it requires a bit of collective effort, and you know, it can be time consuming, it might be expensive as well. But there are initiatives around the country now where people have installed their own wireless systems and connected themselves up. There are some inspiring examples out there of farmers and communities getting the shovels out and the mole ploughs out and digging the trenches and laying their own cables across their fields. You know, and of course that can be a much more cost-effective option than the traditional way of doing these things about digging up the roads and putting things in road trenches. So there's a lot of stuff going on. My issue has been with all this is I don't think that practice is very widely known. So part of what I'm trying to do is to spread the word that people are doing these sort of things.
And you've travelled over 1,000 miles, or you will have travelled over 1,000 miles, spreading the word this week.
I will, yes, definitely.